But
So
I'm
classic.
just
It's
saying.
also like because me,
I'm
I
just
grew up in a
saying.
religion, right?
If 110 is the last chapter, where the other four came from?
No, but that's it. It's not in numerical order,
I know
Pope.
that.
So 111, 112, 113,
No,
114
the
wouldn't have
Pope
been
is
the
more
last
like
four.
it's
They would have been like the first four.
I know that, Tony.
if you look at the second chapter, it's the longest chapter.
What I mean is, if there's only 110 chapters, where did the other four came
You
from?
know, and it's like you have to just look at it. The prophet, he
Oh, I
wasn't
see what
like
you're
us
saying. Yeah,
who would
yeah, I
just
see what you're
summarize clear,
saying.
you know.
Yeah, good
He would
idea.
say the long ones, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
What
So it's
happened to
like,
the other four, Classic? If 110 is the last one, Pope's right. What's
yeah,
happened to
110 is
the
the
other
last one.
four? Yeah, but if that's the last one, as the Pope said, well, where is 111, 112, and 113 and 114 then?
I believe they're right
Uh,
before.
all right.
Should I get
So
the
the,
exact answer for you?
If you've got 114 shures in total, you can't have 110 as the last one.
Does that make sense, brother?
no, you see, a verse can be revealed as the last verse. For example, the first verse that was revealed was Iqra, Surah Alaq. So the verses in Surah Alaq was revealed first, but it's not in that first. That particular chapter is not in the first page of the Quran. It's because the
Exactly.
Prophet told his companions to organize it in that way. So we have narrations where the Prophet tells them to put it in this place, put it in that place. So everything was arranged according to order by the Prophet himself.
But that doesn't answer the question.
So like when you say
When
the
did the
last
last
chapter
four
is
chapter
110,
came from?
that doesn't mean last four chapters are gone. Like the chapter
What do you
revealed
mean?
right before 110 was chapter 9, At-Tawbah. That's the 113 revealed chapter. There's 114 chapters that were revealed. But in the chronological order of where you would find it in the Quran, you would find An-Nasr, the one I just said, which is the last chapter revealed, as chapter 110. You will find At-Tawbah, the second last chapter revealed, as chapter 9. You will find Al-Ma'idah, the third chapter, the third last chapter revealed, as chapter 5. Do you see what I'm saying? So all it is, if you listed all of the Quran chapters on a list, on the right side,
Yeah,
you would have what chapter it is in the Quran, and on the left side, you would have the revelation order. So there's nothing missing. It's basic math, you know?
no, yeah.
At
So
that point,
basically,
it's like a
110 is
spreadsheet, you know?
114, the Pope. Yeah. So anyway, let's do that last verse. All that says to me, Classic, is the same as what I've been saying all along. Kill everyone and take everything by force to make them become Muslims.
But how
That's
could you
what I
say
heard in
that
that
when you're
last
telling
verse.
me that the Muslims conquered Constantine in the year 700?
Well, again, I didn't say they conquered it. I said they surrounded it. There's a difference
You know,
between
and then you also
surrounding
said the Muslims conquered
and conquering
France
it.
and Spain and Poland.
Again, I didn't say they conquered France. I said they conquered Spain. They did conquer Spain in 4 years.
But you
They
said they
went into.
conquered France, and before they went to conquer
No, I
England,
didn't say they
England fought
conquered
back and pushed
Spain.
them back.
I didn't say that. No, no, I didn't say. The only one I said they actually conquered was Spain. I didn't say they conquered any of the other countries apart from the first few, which was Damascus and Antioch and Jerusalem and Alexandria. Those four they conquered and overtook. The others, I just said that they went into to overtake and overthrow them. I didn't say they actually did. So Italy and Cyprus, they went into in 650. I did not actually state that they did actually overthrow and take those countries. I don't know. Maybe the Italians kicked their ass and booted them out. I don't know. But Spain, again, is another one they definitely went into, conquered and overthrown and took the whole country over by force until the Crusaders came along and definitely did kick their ass and boot them back out to
But this is what you're
Arabia.
trying to say, Tony, right? And I already told you this. Like,
Mm,
you're telling me, somebody who went to school in the Western world in a multicultural class, a class of 30, you're telling me from the grades of
mm,
3 to the grades of 17. I mean, from the grade 3 to 12, so from the age of 8 to 17, social studies
mm,
class, just a regular class you have
mm,
to go to. You have to go to school. It's mandatory in the West. When you go to
mm,
that class and you learn about history, you were taught
mm,
the most biggest people who were going
mm,
around conquering, killing, and
mm,
raping were the
mm.
Crusaders. Before
But
them were the
mm,
Vikings, basically.
mm,
Like those guys were twins, you know? There is no
Right.
difference. That's what
Mm.
we're taught, you know? Like, that's what we're taught in
Right.
school. Even when
Right.
they came out here to North America and they
Right.
saw the Indians, they
Yeah.
did the exact same thing they've been doing other places. They just killed and tortured and raped and brainwashed, you know?
Right.
They
Well,
were,
the
we are
Crusaders.
actually taught, bro, by white
Yeah.
Christian teachers, you know?
Yeah.
I never had a
Yeah.
Muslim teacher in public school unless, like, they're a house
Then
teacher, you
they've
know?
taught you incorrectly because
Bro, they all teach us the truth. They say, why lie? Brother,
as I've already
the new
explained to you,
phrases of
the
2020s,
only
of the 2000s is why lie. Keep it 1000.
right.
You
Okay.
guys
Well,
look terrible, you know?
as
Like,
I've
it's keep
already
it 1000.
explained to you, the only reason why the Crusaders arose up was to stop the Muslims. If the Muslims had not been going around trying to conquer
Listen.
everywhere
You
and
told me Constantine got conquered in the years before 800.
Yeah.
Do you not hear yourself? It's just open
did,
slander and
yeah.
hate. Let's keep it honest.
No, it's not. It's not. No, it's not.
Brother, I live in 2022 right now.
I'm
I was
giving you
raised in the
facts.
2000s.
I'm giving you facts
You
and
can't tell
figures
me that
that
the history books
I'm giving you
and the
facts and
world
figures
history is
from
wrong.
what happened from 622 when Muhammad went into Medina, all the way up until the present day. Now, there's nothing I can do about those facts and figures. Those facts and figures are true. Between the years 622 and 1091, Muhammad and his followers virtually overtook the whole world by force. They were stopped by the Christian. Who only arose and stopped the Muslims and pushed them back into Arabia because of what the Muslims were doing.
So you told me
Once
the
the
Muslim
Muslims were pushed
Empire
back into
controlled all of Europe and all of Asia?
if the Muslims had not done what they had done, then the Christian Crusaders would not have arose and did what they did. So mentioning the Christian Crusaders as a bloody conquest is totally wrong for the first place. I've already also mentioned that all of these conquests and battles done by the Muslims were done in the name of Allah and are still done today, hence Nigeria as being one example, in the name of Allah. They're still doing it today. So the
Tony,
Christian Crusaders are not doing it, are they? The UK government is not doing it, is it? No one else is doing it.
Tony,
Only
your whole
one
argument,
nation is.
Tony, your whole argument lies in the fact that you say the Christian Crusaders were not actual Christians because of what they did to the whole world.
No, I didn't say that. I said
That's what
the
you
UK
say, though.
government. No, I said the UK government were not actual Christians for doing it, not the Christian
Okay,
Crusaders.
so you're basically saying that because Christians are supposed to be so holy, because they did unholy things, they weren't Christian?
They weren't Christian. No, they weren't doing it in the name of God.
So that's your whole argument. That's your whole argument. You love your
No,
people.
that's not the whole. No, that's not the whole argument.
That's
Classic.
your whole
You've
case,
missed the
isn't
whole
it? Your whole
argument
case is
completely.
suspended
No,
on your love for your people, brother.
you've missed the whole argument completely, Classic. The whole argument
Brother,
is no other
if a
nation
Muslim
or
goes
no.
and he kills himself and he kills children and women, who's not condemning that? Let's keep it honest. That's getting openly
The Muslims
condemned.
are not condemning it. The Muslims are not condemning
Christians
it.
are not
the Prophet
condemning
himself,
it. That's the whole difference.
has condemned that. So I don't know what you're talking about. The Prophet himself has condemned killing women.
How can Muhammad? How can the Prophet condemn killing women and children today when the Prophet has been dead over 1400 years?
You see now. Tony turns into a child.
He can't condemn
You're
nothing.
a grown man.
He's dead.
No, 1 second. His teachings
it's
are
his teachings
timeless.
that are,
His teachings are timeless. So
yeah, but exactly,
so
and
he's
it's his
condemning that.
teachings that is making it happen today.
No, that's not true. It's a
Well,
twisting
it
of his
is
teachings.
true.
Tony,
No, it's not.
do you know what
It's true.
chivalry is? Tony, do you know what chivalry
People in
is?
Nigeria are dying today because of his teachings. People in Somalia are dying today because of his teachings.
So Tony, it's due to the twisting of the teachings that's the reason why it's happening. And regarding your earlier point,
it's not due to the twisting of the teachings, and I've proved that already, Muhammad, from the years 622, when he and his followers went into Medina and fought 10 battles over 10 years, mainly all offensive battles. And then, even after he died in the year 632, They then nearly, over the next 400 years, conquered the whole world
All right.
through offensive battles from his
MashaAllah.
teachings and
All
his
right,
book.
Tony, 1 second.
MashaAllah.
You're making it up. All
I'm
of the
not
battles that
making it up.
let me respond. Let me respond.
All right.
Almost all of the battles that he participated was defensive. The first battle that took place was Badr, and there was only 300 of them, and they were attacked by the army of 1,000. So it was the opponents that came and they tried to attack. And the first verse that was revealed regarding war was actually a permission that was given. It wasn't that okay, yeah, you can kill everyone. It says chapter 2 verse 39. It says permission has been given to those who are being fought because they were wronged. Because they were wronged, so God gives permission to fight them. And you know the verse that you keep quoting, which is in chapter 2 190. If you read it carefully, it says fight in the way of God those who fight you, but do not transgress. And indeed Allah does not like transgressors. And then it says kill them wherever you find them and expel them from wherever you have expelled you. So these same people have expelled them, and they have also killed them. So God is saying you can do that back to the people who have done it to you. So this is a battle situation. It's not killing random people or killing anyone. So this is basically a war context. So you're taking it. You're not even reading it in context. The
Yeah,
verses.
Muhammad, I haven't mentioned any verses yet. Up to
You did.
date.
You
No,
said kill them
Muhammad,
wherever you find them. That's what you said.
Muhammad, I have not mentioned any verses yet. I have only mentioned times and dates of certain battles that Muhammad and his followers fought while he was in Medina and after Medina. The only one
Tony,
who's mentioned
I heard you say kill them wherever you find them. I heard you say that.
Muhammad, mute up, listen like I listened while you were speaking. The only person who has mentioned a verse yet is Classic. And
Thank
he
you.
mentioned the very last verse in the Quran. No one else has
Chapter
mentioned a
An-Nasr.
verse, and certainly I have not mentioned any verses yet. And if I was going to mention a verse, the first verse I would mention would be 929. So I have certainly not mentioned 290 yet, and I still haven't even mentioned 929 yet. I have mentioned no verses. Now let's get back to your next mistake that you made on the Battle of Badr. The Battle of Badr was against the Romans. And what did Muhammad say to his followers before he took his 300 followers to fight the 1,000 Romans? Let's go and fight those Romans because they've got blondie girls and we can get the blondie girls. Would you like the hadiths, Muhammad, of your Muhammad saying that?
Tony, yeah, definitely. Show me to Tony where the Battle of Badr happened against the Romans. It was a Quraysh. It happened with the pagans. It didn't happen with the Romans. Come on,
You know,
you don't
like
know basic
no
reality.
one was
And it
outside
wasn't
of Saudi
3,000. It was
Arabia yet,
300.
bro.
So I don't know what you're talking about. You got the whole situation messed up. You need to start
No,
learning
I
the
ain't got
Prophet's
the
life
whole
before
situation.
speaking about it.
You're
Like
the
while
one
the
who's
Prophet was
getting.
alive, it was within those Saudi Arabian desert areas. Like these are battles that are going on within his own people, you know?
All
But
the battles
Muhammad
that he,
Tony believes that Constantine got taken over within 100 years of the Prophet passing away, subhanAllah.
all the battles that he had in Medina were
Constantine.
all offensive. The majority of the battles that he had in Medina were all offensive. Over 10 years, 10 battles, mainly all of them were offensive. So that's the first point. Maybe you can pick out one or two that weren't offensive. It still does not negate the fact that the majority of the rest of them were all offensive. And after he died, you cannot dispute the fact that all the battles that his followers had were all offensive. 635 into Damascus. Damascus raided, looted, Christian country, turned into a Muslim country in 1 year. 636, Antioch, again another Christian country, raided, looted, turned into a Muslim country within 2 years. 638, in Jerusalem and Alexandria in Egypt, both of them again each Christian countries, raided, looted, and turned into Muslim countries. 650 into Italy and Cyprus. Were they defensive, Muhammad? Were they going into Italy and Cyprus fighting defensive battles? I don't think so. In
All right, so
711, they invaded Spain. Was that another defensive battle going into Spain and fighting the Spanish in Spain, Muhammad? No, it was not a defensive battle. It was an offensive battle. By the year 730, they were in France fighting the French. Was that also a defensive battle, Muhammad?
all right, you want me to respond?
Can
All right,
respond.
so during the Prophet's lifetime, when I'm talking about defensive, I'm talking about the Prophet's lifetime. After the Prophet's lifetime, a lot of them was offensive and they took over different lands. And there's many reasons why they did this. One reason is they're living in a time where United Nations don't exist, where they can't all agree to not fight each other. And whereas every country is basically fighting for themselves, and any empire is just going to expand itself. Whether it's the Roman, Persian Empire, they will try to expand. So for the Muslim Empire, for them to survive and for the religion to survive, they have to expand their borders. So that's what essentially what they did. That's one reason they fought. Second reason they fought was in many of these lands there was oppression taking place. So to get rid of the oppression, that's another reason why they expanded and they took over other lands. And again, it's one of those things which either you're going to get defeated and someone's going to be over you, and or you're going to be over them. So the Muslim decided after the Prophet to expand and make sure that they are uppermost, so they can establish justice on the lands.
Well, again, it's rather irrelevant with the reasons why. They were doing it in the name of Allah, and they were doing it following the teachings and the books and the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad. So they were going into these lands to conquer them, and it still happens today as well, and that's the whole point of it. No other nation or country or land or people has done so much desecration in the name of a god
But
for
Tony,
over
you can't say that.
1400 years
I
and
get your
still do
point.
it
I get your
today.
point. But
Well,
you
I
can't
can
try and
say it.
say
I
that
can say it.
when it's your
I can,
people that are above
I
you,
can no
but
longer
you're
say
not
it when
using to
someone
recognize
proves
them.
it wrong.
How?
Classic, what are you on about?
Your whole
They are
table
not
you're
doing it in the
suspended
name
on
of Allah
is that
Akbar,
the
are
Christian
they?
people who are worse than them, that decimated, raped, and killed, not to stop oppression, just to conquer. You're telling me they weren't Christians, so they can't fit into your little equation? Does that make sense?
No, classic. No, classic. I'm telling you, you're using an analogy, trying to use an
Brother, your
analogy of
love
a
for your
pineapple
people
is
is stopping
exactly
you
the
from saying
same.
the truth.
You're
You
trying to
clearly said it
use
a
an
few times.
analogy, You're trying to use an analogy, classic, of saying that a pineapple is exactly the same as a banana because they're both fruits.
No.
And clearly, they
And
are
one was
not
stopping
Tony.
both the
oppression,
same.
and one
And
was just
clearly,
conquering
they are
to
not
kill.
both the same. So, what the British are doing, or what the British did do, rather, because they still don't, they no longer do that. They haven't colonized the country for over 1,000 years. Is
1,000 years.
completely
What?
different to what the Mohammedans are doing today as we
But
Did
Tony,
you?
did
speak.
you
Bro,
actually
are you
say that
Still
they
serious?
haven't? You
colonizing,
said they haven't
still
You said
colonized
the
the
British
country.
didn't colonize for the last 1,000 years. What are you talking about? What are you
One
talking about?
What's
thousand.
going on?
They went to India. They
Tony,
went to
that's what
many,
I'm
many
asking. Tony,
countries
how
just in the
old are
last
you?
200 years.
Look at
Tony,
this
my
here
Tony, how
saying,
old are
man.
you,
like,
please?
forget about Africa, bro.
Tony, my man. I love this, Tony.
No,
I've
something
I've
about
been
the
wanting to
Africa
meet you
living
for a long
French.
time, Tony.
Tony,
So
how old are you? Can I ask?
This is getting nowhere, guys.
for
It's like the
many
same
Tony,
years,
can we get
for
your
BS.
age?
many
Can we get your
years,
age? Can we get your age?
they
Tony,
haven't
Tony.
colonized anyone for many
A
years.
thousand?
And
I
listen, I
really
don't
said
want to
that.
move people down, so shut your mouths. Otherwise, you're going to get moved down. Now then, for many years, the British have not colonized anyone.
1940.
Islam is still invading and colonizing countries today. And
1800s?
what the British did was not
Somebody help me.
done in the name of God.
Yes, that's the best thing you said all
What the
day.
Muslims do is in the
Name.
name of God. They
Yes.
did
Aye,
it
aye,
since
sir.
622 when Muhammad was
Always.
still alive. They did it for the next 10 years while Muhammad was still alive until 632. And they have have still done it up to this day for the past 1400 years in the name of God. Now, if you're going to, justify this action by your filthy prophet, justify it by bringing me something that is exactly similar. Do not justify it by bringing me something that is completely different.
All right. So why did Bush invade Iraq in the name of Jesus?
Bush did not invade Iraq in the name of Jesus.
Yes, he did.
No, he
said, "I
didn't.
do it
No,
in
he
the name of
didn't.
Jesus."
No, he didn't.
Shall I show you the interview?
You can show me whatever you want. I'm telling you for a fact, Bush did not invade Iraq in the name of Jesus. Show me
Okay,
where
why did he?
Jesus.
Why did he
Show
invade?
me where Jesus. Show me where Jesus said in your Quran in these exact words, George Bush invade Iraq.
I didn't say it's in the Quran. What are you talking about?
Show me, or shut your mouth
Why
about
would it be in
it.
the Quran? What are you
Well,
talking
show
about?
me it in the
I told him
Bible
you have to
then.
know your
Show me it in the
English.
Bible then.
Bush didn't
I didn't say
Show
it in
me
the
the
Bible.
exact words. George Bush invaded Iraq.
Bush didn't molested a 6-year-old.